So you got PCS orders to Hampton Roads, Virginia. Where the heck is that? Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Portsmouth, Hampton, Newport News, Yorktown? It could be any one of those local areas that your PCS orders is now taking you to, and you need help and you want guidance. Don't worry. We're going to break everything that you need to know and more right after this. Welcome to the Moving in Norfolk channel. I'm your host, Craig Houston. I'm a local realtor serving the Hampton Roads community, but I'm also a 21-year Navy retired senior chief who helps veterans and active duty service members alongside their military families make a smooth move to Hampton Roads. So in this video today, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about PCSing to Hampton Roads. And that really means that we got a lot to talk about in this video. We're going to be talking about all the bases that you may be actually assigned to. We're going to talk about the local communities around those bases. We're going to talk about the commute times. We're going to talk about schools and so much more to help you make sure that you're making an efficient move to the Hampton Roads area, because I help military families move with confidence, whether this is your first PCS or your fifth PCS. We're going to help you get through it all by moving to the Hampton Roads area. So if you need assistance with anything that we talk about in this video today, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text at any time at 757-294-8163. And when you're moving to Hampton Roads, it's one of the largest military installations area across the United States. So it could be some confusion when it comes down to exactly where you could be assigned to and what local communities are around, especially when you call the 757 the 7 cities. So if you're unaware of what the 7 cities are, you have Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Portsmouth on the south side, and then on the peninsula as well, you have Newport News and Hampton, and you may actually be assigned a little bit further up than that to a place called Yorktown. So we're going to talk about all these things and more and give you a little bit of idea of what things look like from a cost perspective, and break down a lot more things down in detail for you, where I prefer for people to understand what's around them in the area. Because PCSing is already hard, but not knowing the local area can make it even more challenging. Me and my family have relocated to this area twice over our 21-year period of time, in 2003 to 2011, and in 2020 at the peak of COVID, through now where we actually reside here now post-retirement. So I have the lay of the land. I got everything that you need to know and more. So let's start exactly with where in the heck are all these military bases that you may possibly be assigned to. So we're going to take a look around the tour of the map and kind of give you an idea of the lay of the land that you want to know. We already talked about that, it's more than 7 cities that comprise this area. You have 5 that comprise the south side here, and then you also have Newport News and Hampton here on the peninsula side, and they're separated by bridges. You got the James River Bridge here, you have the Monitor Merrimack Bridge Tunnel here, and then you have the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel here as well. We'll talk about that here in a second, but let's get down to where you could possibly be assigned to. So we're going to start over on the east side here, where we're going to take you over to a little place called Dam Neck, which is a military base here, naval base in the area, where you could be assigned here off of General Booth Boulevard. But then if you're here, or you may not be, you may actually be over here at Naval Air Station Oceana, which is going to be off Oceana Boulevard and Tomcat Road. But you'll be here. This could be your Naval Air Station Oceana, which is going to be in Virginia Beach, more so towards the oceanfront area part of it, and Lynn Haven as well, around Atlantic Park. So you have that part, but then also north up here by First Landing State Park, you have Fort Story. Little joint base Little Creek Fort Story is here, right down on Shore Drive in the local market as well too. Now, if you was to go back a little bit west here to Norfolk, you actually have over here Naval Station Norfolk here, okay? So this is actually, if you're unaware, Naval Station Norfolk is the largest naval base in the United States across the continental United States. Now, if you actually wanted to say over here as well in Portsmouth, you may get assigned to Naval Medical Center Portsmouth, which is here as well. And then they actually have the Norfolk and the Portsmouth Naval Shipyards here as well. So if you're actually relocating to the area and you're going to be working at any of these shipyards, you could be right here in this local market here between the 464 and 264 interchange. Now, also, if you were to actually be being assigned to Langley, you'll be going across the 64 Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel over to this way, and you'll be over at the NASA Langley Air Force Base area as well too. This is a joint base as well. And you could be over at the Newport News shipbuilding yard, where this is where typically they're working on submarines, nuclear submarines and nuclear carriers. So you could be here. So do you have the James River Bridge that gets you from here, and then you have the Monitor Merrimack that can bring you here as well. But then if you go further north, you may also be at Naval Weapons Station Yorktown, which is up here as well. And then they have a little annex called Cheatham Annex as well, where you could be assigned in between that area as well too. So we have a lot of land to cover. So now that we've talked about exactly where the bases are, that kind of gives you an oversight of where you could be. So what I want you to do, comment down below, what base are you actually being assigned to? And let us help you out from there. Just give us a comment down below about what base that you're actually going to be assigned to. If you have orders to Oceana and Dam Neck, I would say you want to be closer in Virginia Beach than in Norfolk. But if you're actually in Hampton, if you're going to be assigned to Langley or Fort Eustis or anything with Cheatham Annex, you definitely going to be in the Hampton Newport News area. So you would preferably want to be in those areas. Now, a cheat code could be that you could also be living in Suffolk and taking the James River Bridge or the 664 Monitor Merrimack to get to Hampton or Newport News as well, and actually live on that side of town if you want to live on the south side, if you're looking for space and more room. But now let's talk to you about housing options. So one of the many things that we need to discuss as well too across these maps is just traffic. Based on this, we already talked about there's 3 bridges that get you from the east side, from the peninsula side to the south side. But then traffic here on the south side is just as bad in certain cases as well too. It depends on where you're at, especially if you're commuting towards Portsmouth or Norfolk or any one of those areas where it has a tunnel, or even going over the high-rise bridge on the 64 exchange. You can have some well-timed commutes, somewhere between 25 to 40 minutes in certain cases. If you're going over the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, it may turn into an hour. If the bridge gets backed up with an accident in on the bridge or in the tunnel, you could be looking at an hour, 2 hours, some cases 2.5 hours. So just be aware of what's really going on in what areas that you are. So if you are thinking about living a considerable distance away from your military assignment, you want to take traffic into consideration based on where you're going to be living. Now here's a pro tip. If you're going to be assigned to Dam Neck or Oceana, you may want to live closer to Virginia Beach or in the Norfolk area. Now if you're going to be assigned to the Norfolk Naval Station, you have a little bit more flexibility. You may be able to try to commute from Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, and even certain parts of Suffolk. Now, a lot of people that we do know and veteran buyers that we help, they definitely make the commute from Hampton to Norfolk, but they realize how sometimes that commute can be hit or miss on how traffic flow can be. But you have people who actually take that risk as well. Now, when it comes to actually being assigned to Portsmouth Naval Hospital, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, parts of Suffolk, those are going to be ideal for you as well too. But if you're looking at being in Langley, Yorktown, or even in Newport News shipyard, you may want to consider living on the peninsula side with Hampton and Newport News. Where's your next military assignment going to be, and what areas are you considering? We look forward to understanding more about what your upcoming military assignment looks like. So now that we discussed where you may be going and where your assignment may be and what locations may be available to you, now that we know where that's going to be at and what that looks like, let's talk about the old adage, should you rent or should you buy? Now there's pros to renting and there's pros to buying. Let's start with the pros to renting. When it comes to people who want to rent, I understand, and it's usually a pro for them, that they can have a shorter timeline on what their orders is. Like if it's 2-year orders, 1-year orders, it really probably makes sense to rent. Or you're just uncertain of your timelines when it comes to, like, maybe you're thinking about actually getting out of the military early, or you just thinking about, it may not be the right fit for a city for you as well too. But then you get more flexibility with change. Every year your lease is up, you can make the difference in the opinion of deciding to move to a different part of the city, different community, or actually moving out of the area if your orders just happen to change over time. Or you're going to have also fewer upfront costs. A lot of times, this is where a lot of people think that they're saving more money by just renting because they only have to come up with a security deposit and first month's rent. But let's talk about some of the pros with purchasing. So if you're planning to be here 3 years plus or more, I encourage you to think about purchasing more so than renting. And I'm not encouraging you to purchase because I'm a real estate agent. I'm encouraging you to purchase because it can be significant cost savings to you, especially if we find your home that's below your BAH, where you can fit not only your mortgage and your utilities into the cost of your BAH. And here's something that really changes too. If BAH actually goes down, but your payment is already locked in and you already had your BAH before the actual rate goes down, your rate stays the same. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that, but if the rate actually increases, you get the increase, but your mortgage is actually staying fixed more so than your rent, which is going to scale with BAH over time. Now, here's the thing when we talk about your payment being fixed. I want to make sure I clear this up because a lot of times a lot of people get this confused and then they get into homes and then they wonder like, oh, I thought I had a fixed payment. You really do. Your principal mortgage and your interest on your primary mortgage is going to stay fixed. It's not going to change. The only things that could change in your payment is going to be your taxes and your homeowner's insurance. The homeowner insurance, you get to control what happens with that because you get to go and shop around for homeowner's insurance annually once you lock it in. But then also your taxes, if your house is appreciating in value, the tax rate does not necessarily have to change for the city, but because naturally if you're at 1% at $400,000 and then next time you look up, your house is appreciated to $411,000, that same 1% tax rate is going to increase about $100 or so just based on the natural fact of what's happening with your taxes over the year. So take that into consideration when we say your payment is going to be more fixed than your rental payment, because that naturally is just based on the landlord's opinion of what their home is worth and what they think they can get the most value from in their home. So take that into consideration and comment down below. What are some of the pros that you think about when it comes to renting versus buying? I look forward to reading your comments down below. So now that we ain't talked about the locations, we ain't talked about the money versus renting versus buying, let's talk about everything that you need to consider when it's time to relocate and PCS to the Hampton Roads area. First and foremost, if you already have your orders and you know that you have a timeline, I want you to get on the phone with Household Goods and figure out exactly how long it's going to take to actually get a reservation for when you're going to move to the local area and get that settled now. Because what you don't want to do is wait till it get closer to the timeline for you to move and think that you're going to get your household goods picked up and shipped to where you're going to be at anytime soon. A lot of times this takes a while for this to get developed out. But you have to plan with Household Goods. You got to turn in the application to them. They have to figure out exactly how much they can actually get you on the schedule and when they can get you on the schedule. And then you have to start coordinating that with the transportation service provider to get you from point A to point B and what that timeline looks like. Now, also, while you're actually thinking about maybe either renting or you're actually thinking about purchasing, you still want to check base housing availability, because here's what happened to us in 2020. We moved during COVID, and during the period of COVID, what happened to us was that at one point in time, the National Association of Realtors could not even show home buyers or future home buyers homes at one point in time because they was not considered essential personnel. And when they was not considered essential personnel, you basically had to settle on either trying to find something on your own or find an apartment complex that was still doing showings for you to actually see, or moving to base housing. So we deferred for the latter. We moved into base housing till everything settled down, and then we moved into our house. But definitely make sure that you check base housing availability, because what it could happen is that you can come to the local area, you can find that you can't find anything suitable to rent that you may like, or you may still be trying to figure out exactly what's available to you on the open market that you'll want to purchase as well. And in most cases, purchasing a home with a VA loan, you're going to see that's going to take about 21 to 30 days to actually get done. So just to be sure that you don't have to be in a rush, make sure that you're checking base housing availability as well. And 9 times out of 10, if you do moving into base housing, what they usually do is they have a clause that if you're purchasing a house, you can cancel the lease within a year of actually being within the lease most times. Now, also, when it comes to rentals, you also want to be careful as well, because you want to make sure they have a military clause in the lease as well, where you can cancel the lease based on if anything was to happen where you had to transfer out of the area, like your orders got changed, things of that nature. And a lot of times, depends on the location, the property, they may not have a military clause, and you want to make sure you take that over and get that looked at by a JAG officer as well too, to make sure that you're protected just in case. Okay, now if you are considering buying, this is where I want you to feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, 757-294-8163, so that way we can go ahead and work on getting you pre-approved to use your VA loan, so that way we can go ahead and start streamlining your process. What does that really mean? You don't have to wait till you actually get here to start looking at homes. We specialize in virtual tours and bringing that to you, so that way that you can understand exactly the lay of the land that you may be moving into, what's really going on around the neighborhood that you're going to be seeing, and where you may actually be considering living. And then when you come here for your actual in-person tour, or you actually come in here for your home inspection, you already know what you kind of expect. And we actually help people do this all the time, and we streamline not only just the virtual tours to remote closings. We actually get this done for people a lot of times within that 90 to 120 day mark that they're looking at. And we take care of this for them from point A to point B. It's part of our concierge service that we love to provide. Now, what are some of the documents that you may need to provide to a lender that you're going to need to actually get this pre-approval done? That's going to streamline from your LES, your leave and earnings statement, and 2 months of bank statements, and filling out the mortgage application typically. And then if you need anything else, the lender will ask for it at that point in time. But this really what gets you started on getting that pre-approval. And if you have any other questions about it, definitely shoot me an email down below by using the link in the description, and we'll walk you through the process from point A to point B and put you in connection with our specialized lenders to help, who specialize and help military buyers get their VA loan maximized to the best benefit of all. Then know your BAH by your zip code. I think this is more important than not. Now, in the Hampton Roads area, if you put in the zip codes, you can actually find these pretty simply. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you actually over here where you can actually find where your BAH is actually at if you don't know how to locate that at all. So I'm going to bring this up for you real quick. Let's head on over to Google. And what you're going to do is you're going to type in DOD travel. If you type in that, it's going to come up to the Defense Travel Management Office. You'll click this link here. And then you'll see at the top, they have allowances. You'll go to basic allowance of housing. You'll hit the rate lookup. Now you can hit the rate lookup, and they have, if you don't know your zip code, or you got to find out your zip code, you can look it up by the USPS or whatnot. And then, but if you do, like if you're moving to the Hampton Roads area, you put in 23452, and let's just say use EA in the Navy, you'll see that it'll come up with your calculation here. It'll have your BAH. Let's see here. It'll have your BAH here at 2544 and then 2361 as well too. So you'll be able to see exactly what it is, if without dependents or with dependents. And this is just you putting the zip code in to know what your BAH is. And this is very helpful for realizing exactly where you want to stay at in your prospective pay grades that you want to see. Now, if you wanted to actually get the whole list, you can actually click the link down here, and they'll give you a whole Excel list of all the rates across the United States for a locale that you want to be in as well too. So I hope that is helpful for you as well. And I work with families who are out of state all the time, like I said. So we will be able to help you with this throughout the process and help you see things that you need to see to make it work for you. So choosing where to live depends just on a few things. It depends on one, not only the commute, but your family's preference and the lifestyle that you want to live. We're going to break down some of the areas that you want to think about from a fit and feel standpoint, where it may make sense for you or may not. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're considering moving to Virginia Beach, a lot of the area of Virginia Beach is considered family friendly. It's going to have some of the better schools in the area, and it's going to give you that beach lifestyle. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Norfolk, you're going to get that urban feel with a closer to base feel as well, and it's going to be a little bit more affordable than Virginia Beach. If you're thinking about moving to Chesapeake, you're going to see that it's going to be more suburban-like homes, newer homes, and it's going to be a little bit more quiet and reserved in certain parts of Chesapeake as well. If you're looking at Suffolk, you're talking about affordability once again, but this is going to give you an opportunity to find more land. It's going to be a further commute, but then also it's going to have more subdivisions in that local market as well. If you're thinking about moving to Hampton and Newport News, this is definitely going to be essential and probably more ideal for you if you're going to be assigned to Langley and Fort Eustis or Yorktown, or even being assigned to the Newport News shipyard. I think these areas are going to be ideal for you, and this is going to give buyers a better balance between commutes and home values. I always help clients map out their base first. Then we talk about preferred neighborhoods and how it shows up against affected drive times with their BAH usage and school zones if it matters to them at that point as well too. I don't think a lot of people really think about how far they basic allowance of houses can really stretch and take them in getting an actual mortgage, especially when you're using your VA loan. But every rank and every zip code can be different no matter where you're watching this video from. So we're going to break down just one zip code in Virginia Beach based on various pay grades and show you what the actual rate could be. If you're an E5 looking to move to Virginia Beach at the zip code of 23451, it's going to be 2325 is what you're going to receive as basic allowance for housing. E6 will receive $24.69. If you're a 01 ensign in the Navy, you will receive $26.25. And if you're a lieutenant in the Navy, you will get as an 03, you will see $28.47. You can absolutely buy a house with this basic allowance of housing that you would be assigned in the local market in 2025. This is why it's important to leverage the use of a realtor who has very great knowledge about all your VA benefits, but then also working with a lender who specializes in VA mortgages as well too. And I have a team of lenders around me who know exactly how to navigate this market and help you take care of your family and making your purchase with just making sure that it stays underneath that BAH. And in some cases, it may go a little bit above it. It may even exceed it a little bit. Just depends on your price point. But one of the main things that I love to make sure that my buyers understand when they're actually getting ready to purchase a home or thinking about writing an offer on a home, we take the purchase price, we take the projected taxes, and we project the home insurance as well as projecting the interest rate to give you an idea where that payment may land at, and then also know where the closing costs may be as well. Because in certain cases, if you may not have the full savings for all the closing costs, but this is where it comes in having me on your side, well, we may be able to uniquely negotiate seller closing cost contributions to the buyer as well. So this is why I say it's always important to just reach out to me at 757-294-8163, so that way we can help you make that decision on what's best for you, but also helping you get into a home and making it a smooth buying process for you as well. So look, if you're a PCS in the Hampton Roads, I really want you to give me a call. I really want you to shoot me a text if you even need to, or write me an email by using the link in the description as well too. And the reason why is because I've been there. I've been in your shoes. I've been when you had to move to the local market and you really didn't know everything that you wanted to know, or you just didn't know how to get started with using your VA home loan benefits. Either way, I'm ready and well more equipped to help you get this done than anyone else in our local market. And I'm not tooting my horn, but I know exactly how it feels to feel the anxiety of trying to find a place for your family to move to in a safe local area in a market like this. And I really want to help you navigate that the best way possible. So feel free, like I said before, give me a call, 757-294-8163, and I look forward to helping you whether you're 9 days out or 90 days out, or you just received your military PCS orders and you're ready to get started. I'm ready to help you. I've done this multiple times where I've moved from Virginia to Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., across the country to San Diego, California, San Diego, California, back to actual Norfolk, Virginia. So if you need help, definitely feel free to reach out to me. Once again, if you found value in this content, definitely hit me with a like. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well too, and ring the notification bell so that way you can be the first to learn about any and everything about using your VA benefits in the Hampton Roads market. And here's another video that you may want to check out that's talking about your VA benefits that I think that you may enjoy.